Thanks everyone for coming today. It's great to have you all here at our Trainline London offices. So yeah, I'm going to talk about designing for simplicity and just some of the things we've learned on a recent project about this kind of principle. So yeah, hey, I'm David. I've been designing digital products for over 13 years. And I've worked at both creative agencies, some of the stuff like similar to the guys that have just presented, and now I'm part of the awesome product design team here at Trainline. We work across obviously multiple channels, app, web, multiple different mission teams, and yeah, I touch kind of the customer booking flows, post-transaction areas, and ancillary revenue, everything really, that's the broad spectrum of the product really, and real-time data, which is kind of the one that I'm going to dive into a little bit more later on today. So for anyone that doesn't know, Trainline is a platform for booking rail and coach tickets. We like to say we're Europe's leading rail and bus platform. But not only that, we like to see ourselves as kind of the people that roll out sort of these cool new features and these cool new initiatives within this space, because it's otherwise a pretty stagnant sort of marketplace. An example of this is kind of e-tickets. So we've kind of driven this a lot lately. It's kind of standard in a lot of other industries, obviously. But yeah, we're kind of pushing with our train operating companies to kind of get things out, e-ticket out there, you know, get this sort of smarter ticketing, just better ticketing experience for customers, reduce costs for ourselves and the train operating companies at the same time as improving those experiences. And we've also got a great data science team here working on projects similar to the one that you can see on screen now, which is kind of like Price Tracker. So this is kind of where if you are searching for a train ticket, you know, we kind of show you the cheapest price, but you know, we kind of tell you the kind of days that this price is likely to go up, and they've kind of been working on this for a long time. We've got like a rich data lake that kind of feeds into this, but yeah, it's, you know, we're getting more accurate with it, and it's kind of a cool customer win. They can kind of see, you know, they don't have to buy the ticket there and then, they can come back and we can link this up to ticket alerts and so on, and then tell the customers when the best time to buy the ticket is. So this is the kind of thing we're doing rather than just being simply, you know, selling these train tickets. And it's not just about the selling the tickets really. We kind of want to improve that whole travel experience. So not only making the booking cheaper, you know, and train travel being more energy efficient, we kind of push it for that reason. But also just to make life a little bit easier for the customer. We have this kind of philosophy of wanting to be their travel companion and sort of be there for the whole step of the journey. It's kind of one of those things where we don't really run the trains. Well, we definitely don't run the trains, but else they'd be a lot better than what they are. But yeah, people kind of hold us accountable for the whole kind of journey, even though, which is kind of, I suppose, fair, and we don't mind that. We kind of trying to do the best we can to kind of make their journey as good as possible. So if we start by being honest, and I think we'll be all right, because I think there's probably too many product owners in the room, so our secret will be safe. As UX designers, we like to think we can design this kind of perfect experience, end-to-end, everything's going to be like, great, you know, we'll come in and save the day. It's how I kind of explain the job that I do to my mum anyway. And yeah, she's kind of like, you know, but secretly on the inside, we all kind of know that's not really the case. We're gonna come across sort of complexities and different difficulties during the design. And you know, even though we're doing really well, it's important to remember that we're just designing like a small piece of a larger experience. You know, we touch this little part and we can make it as good as, you know, we can work on that and iterate on that to make it better. But yeah, we're only touching a small part, and a lot of the real experience is happening outside of the digital product. So great, we've got multiple initiatives that we're kind of doing to sort of help this. And another great example is someone like Airbnb, for example. You look at those, and they've recently, quite a while ago now, but they've added this kind of messaging system with the app, where you have these kind of messages between the host and the person that's staying. You know, they introduced that for this exact reason. They saw a problem outside of their product where people were kind of arriving at their houses or the apartments, and there was this kind of weird kind of, oh, you're the guy that owns the place, and I'm not sure what's going on. So they've kind of introduced this kind of extra bit in their product that kind of helps this whole experience, affecting the outside real experience on the inside of the product. And in our travel space, so many things that can affect this. You know, like weather issues. I mean, we're fine today. We've got this beautiful sunshine, but like this time last year, the snow was everywhere, and you know that kind of affects the rail. We don't have any control over that, and someone might be trying to get home, you know, to their family, and they're stuck and stranded at the station. You know, or something like a member of the train operating company's staff. They could just be not show up for work, and if they don't show up for work, the train can't run because there's not enough staff to go on the train, and therefore there's delays, you know, and this is all the things that we don't have any control over. But we really want to make our customers feel a little bit more comfortable in those situations as best we can. So one of the features we have for this is our real-time data. So this is kind of where we kind of show, as well as the schedule times, we're kind of showing people, okay, this is the time the train's actually going to be at. Like, it's running at this time, it's expected here, this is the real time. We can present this in form of the search results, we can show it on a live tracker, we can show disruptions, and there's all sorts of things that we can kind of do to help with the customers there. And we've been doing this in the UK for quite a long time. And it really helps the customer. A lot of the time, it's not the sort of disruption itself that causes the anxiety, it's the unknown of not knowing what's going on. So if we can get this sort of information to the customers, then it makes them feel a whole lot better. So yeah, we all know the kind of phrase, good design is obvious, and great design is transparent. And in these situations, I think that's even more prevalent. There's so many of these real world situations, and when life's not going as expected, your product really needs to work fast, work well, work fast, and work as expected. Kind of be stable, reliable, and accurate. We've kind of got, over the years, we've kind of refined the data and how we present it to make sure it is reliable and accurate. Work fast, so performance is like super important. And these are like time-sensitive moments, time-sensitive situations. It needs to work fast. People don't want to be waiting around. And work as the user expected. So we need to like set the stage correctly, present the data clearly, don't overcomplicate it. It needs to just not get in the way. Keep out of the way, just let and just help as much as we can. So yeah, this brings me to a little bit I want to talk about more today. We've had this kind of real-time information in the UK side of the product for a long time. And it works well, it works fast, and it works as our customers expect to. We get great feedback from it. But we've recently sort of spread our wings into the European space, and no one's really kind of doing that very well there. No one's kind of doing it particularly well. And so we kind of thought, hey, we've got an opportunity here, a bit of a world first, make this happen. It is there, but kind of all the carriers have it in their own apps, and it's not kind of in one place. It's kind of tricky. So we were like, we can do something about this, because we kind of sell tickets for those operators already, but we don't really have anything to do with the real time. So we got together as a team to kind of discuss, okay, how could we launch this? And my initial reaction, seeing as we've been doing this for a while, easy. Pass me my MacBook, give me 30 minutes, get me some of those dribble likes, I'll be no problem whatsoever. Jobs are good and no problems. Turns out that was a little tiny bit naive, to say the least. So yeah, there was quite a few complexities to navigate, mostly on the tech side, but also how they had to be transpired through into the UI. So yeah, we got together and we had this kind of kickoff strategy, planned out our potential MVP, and we talked about a lot of things, but the main things that came from that session, we wanted to be enablers. We wanted to enable as many customers as we possibly could around Europe, and also as many teams across our business as well. So it's important when you sort of launch these new initiatives, you can kind of just be pretty blind to, right, let's deliver this, but how could we enable other people across the business, like our SEO team, our disruptions team, our growth team, how could we really circulate this, get the news out there to our customers? We wanted to be scalable. We didn't want to just kind of, build something that was pretty simple and not be able to do anything with it. We wanted to build on top of it with all the data smarts that we've got coming up. Some of the things not like kind of really allowed to mention, but we've got some cool stuff that's coming into sort of the lifetime space with our data science team. And yeah, we wanted to make it scalable and be able to expand into those worlds. And then also get it into their hands was the other thing. We kind of wanted to test out the tech because it was pretty new, no one was doing this, but at the same time, we wanted to ensure that it worked well, it worked fast, and it worked as the customers were expecting. Again, they've never seen it before, this kind of thing all in one app. So with limited resource, we kind of decided to dive into it, and even though this was going to be presented in our native apps, we decided to build it as a web view, which was pretty controversial within the business. Some people were like, well, why would you do that? We don't want to do that. We kind of do the UK native. It's very different. But there was multiple reasons for doing that. And obviously, we don't have to align with the app release schedules. We can kind of update and release stuff as and when we want to. We can get sort of iterate very quickly. Less resourcing problems within the business as well. And also, we could ship to all of our platforms at the same time. So Android, iOS, mobile, we could put it across everything in one go. So we got to work, and within work on MVP, and within a week or two, we're ready. We kind of shifted things pretty quickly, and we're kind of there. And we pretty much followed the UK patterns. We thought, yeah, tried and tested method, let's do that, let's go with it. So you've kind of got, your search form, result screen, and live tracker. And we've pretty much thought, let's keep it scalable. Product, we'll keep it as global. We want one global product. Let's follow as much as we can the UI. We kind of made a few tweaks here and there, just to kind of try and differentiate it a little bit, and we kind of weren't in the buy flow, so we kind of made the two search experiences for buying tickets and searching for real time different. But yeah, we were pretty confident with this. It would allow us to test our tech behind the scenes, and it would bring value to our customers from day one as well. We could deliver something pretty sharpish. We've got live departure boards. No one else is doing this. Everything's in one app. So great. Yeah, we're proud as punch really. We were very much ready to go. We had everything in there. You do delays, the delay times, the expected arrival times, the live tracker, and we were, even though it was quite tricky and we had a few tech constraints, we kind of built this filter at the top, which meant, we could very easily still present all of the carriers in one app. It just meant that there was a few tech constraints about the fact we couldn't really intertwine all the results, so we kind of put it behind a kind of filter, and you could go in and you just choose the carrier that was relevant for you, and you could find them. And we did a few little smarts around, right, if we knew a particular carrier was more, had more services at a particular station, we'll try and default to that filter. But again, not perfect. By no means we knew this wasn't the perfect MVP, but we knew it was a good place to start, and so we decided to launch it. And yeah, we knew that's where the real work would start. So a few months down the line now, we've made many improvements. The product looks quite a lot different, and we've now, as well as Italy, we kind of launched it in Italy, which was our first market, France, Spain, and we're kind of pushing it out to a few other ones and making some learning. So I'd like to share with you a few findings from working on this project. It's got us where we've got to today, and hopefully a few of them will be sort of new. Some of them might be just reiterating stuff that we already know, but it's good to remind ourselves about them. But yes, something that might help you on projects that you're working on in the future. So something we've learned since then is tip number 1, dog food, and dog food some more. So I've put it 3 times because it's super important. And also to remind me that I need to pick some up on the way home later on for my little bitch. Because, yeah, he's going to, well, I put a little photo in my bitch. So this is how interested he was at this point in the talk when I was practicing it with him. So hopefully you're all a little bit more into it than what he was. He wasn't particularly interested. But yeah, dog fooding. So the concept of using your own product. Use your own product every day. Everyone at Trainline is pushed to do this. Everyone from the CEO right down through all the product owners and in the designers, everyone is pushed to do this here, and it makes such a massive difference. We've found so many little golden nuggets of like information that we didn't really know was there. Quick fixes sometimes bigger things that we get to put in backlogs, but it makes such a huge difference, and it's something that played a big role for where we've got to today on the EU real time. It's a bit tricky because obviously we're in the UK, and this was in France, Spain, and Italy, but we have got offices in Paris, and one of our designers, Jan, who's sitting on the front row, he was kind of going over there to do some work, so we kind of nicely asked him / forced him to do his travel using the new thing, not knowing whether we were actually going to be able to get him there or not. But yeah, so super important. In fact, say it's so important at Trainline, we even have a dog food in Slack channel, which I'd recommend anyone do at your companies if you don't already have one. It's like super important. Yeah, there's a few, I've just hidden everything other than design systems, so it kind of looks like we've got a perfect design system, which isn't quite there yet, but yeah, put that on there. But yeah, the amount of things that we don't sort of hide this from anyone. Anyone can access this. Anyone can put in there, whether it be in legal, finance, a designer, a PO, and it's just like booking flows, emails, internal tools, anything goes. Anyone can post anything there, and it's great. It's definitely something that the wider product team jump into, so I definitely recommend that. But yeah, some of the things that came out for us. So yeah, we kind of had this concept in the UK where the tab bar is the favorites tab, and that's where you get your live times for UK. And so we wanted to switch it out in the EU world and kind of have this live times tab, because favorites is a bit more of a departure board-esque situation where it's a bit more mature. There's a few more features we can do there. We can kind of say things. Can't quite do that in the EU yet, so we kind of wanted to switch it out for the live times. And yeah, from our dog fooding, we kind of hit a stumbling block straight away. So anyone that was kind of roaming from the UK and visiting the EU couldn't even see the feature that we'd built. So yeah, we kind of messed up a little bit, where we thought there's some kind of fancy wizardry behind the back end with some classifiers would easily switch this for us, but actually it kind of rerouted back to the UK IP, and no one could actually even see it. So yeah, we had a bit of a problem straight from the start. So this was something that came in the dog food, and we were able to fix, and it obviously made a huge difference to what we were going to be shipping. Another thing was that the departure board. So when we were sort of standing in the stations and comparing the product with the departure boards, stations weren't actually matching. Boards weren't actually matching what we were showing in the product, and we're thinking like a little bit confused by this. This is the carriers are sending us their data. We've got these data sets coming direct from the carrier. How can that be? But it turns out that some of the carriers have 2 data sets, and one's called departure boards and one's called live tracker. And we're kind of using, as you'd expect, the departure board API for the departure board and the live tracker board, thinking they'd match. Well, actually, they just send the live tracker one to the stations essentially, and that's what they kind of use to update their feed. So the departure boards were not matching, and there was obviously causing utter confusion there. And then the next piece was the final station. So we kind of say, hey, this is the train you're going to. So you look on the board, I'm getting the 10-7 to this station. And we had a slight problem where if the train crossed over a border, the data set didn't sort of account for that, and it had just put the station in that was the last one before it crossed the border into a different country. So it wasn't actually, again, matching what was on the board. And that was the case as well if a service was covered by different carriers and different toxin, those things. So yeah, we were pretty lucky that we had someone on the team to kind of go and figure these things out. But dog fooding is like, it's so incredibly vital in your product. You'll be amazed the amount of things that you kind of pick up just from doing some simple little things that you would assume should just work and yet end up not working. And that brings me on to the next tip, which is see it in the wild. So nothing compares to real world testing. Like you can, the whole philosophy of kind of, everyone knows the philosophy in a tech company, kind of iterate fast, ship fast, learn fast. But we kind of saw it from a different angle here. We wanted to ship fast because we wanted to get it in the wild, into users' hands. The context here was going to be so vitally important. It's the customers are in the moment. They're at the station. They're waiting for a train. They're looking for a train. The train's disrupted. There could be a level of like sort of fear, anxiety, and that changes everything really when it comes to using the product, particularly compared to what you might have if you've got a moderated user testing session in one of the rooms that we've got here. So yeah, this was produced so many different valuable little nuggets. So we sent our research team went over to Italy and we kind of gave them the product to do some testing at the stations with customers, and we set some stuff up and they kind of just bombarded and jumped into some people that didn't look like they were too worried about them missing their train. And we knew by no means we built the perfect feature, but we wanted to kind of get it in their hands and figure out, what we could do to tweak it and change it. Like I say, that environment's super important. And however great your prototype is, like we do some super stuff here with Framer-X, and we're kind of feeding in live data into our prototypes, but nothing really changes, and nothing can really replace that real world experience and getting exactly your customers in the moment, essentially. We do a lot of other things up front. You might hear people like Airbnb and other companies talking about, like Facebook talking about this storyboarding concept. You'd have storyboarding, and you kind of got, these are our customers, this is the journeys they go on, and we know it, right? We do a lot of persona modeling and different things, and I came from the agency side. We did a lot of that in the past at agencies, and but again, those storyboards, and we have customer typologies that we map insights to, and our research team do a great job there. But everybody's different. Everybody's different at the end of the day, and particularly so in these real world scenarios. It's everyone's in their own moment. Could have a young businessman who's like completely tech savvy, no problem, will breeze through the app, UX's dream, happy days. Then you could also have like an elderly lady who's struggling to even see the departure board that she's got at the station. She's a bit overwhelmed by the whole situation. These people that we have a wide vast of people that use our product, and we need to make sure we account for all of those. So yeah, it was kind of something that came in. So just a few of the little things that came from watching our customers using the product. Super, super simple one. So customers, because they were using the product at the station, just assumed that the app would know where they were, and that what they actually had to search for was the station they were going to. And we had not built the functionality of kind of journey planning from to. So we just needed someone to type in the station. And that was something as simple as we'd kind of put the microcopy in the field as choose a station. And we just simply, we knew it was going to be a while away for us to build that tech. So just simply changing the form field to say origin station just completely negated that whole issue, because people were searching for the station they wanted to go to, and it was just obviously getting a weird set of results that was even further away from the station departure board. So super, super simple fix. But like we would never have picked that up in a user testing session, because people were at the station, they assumed the train would know, that the app would know where they were. So yeah, short-term fix, and it made a huge difference. Another one as well was like kind of people know the time that they're traveling. So as soon as you land on the search results, they scroll to find the time, because obviously they're a little bit early. It's probably going to be the third or fourth result down. As soon as they do that, there's filter scroll away that we'd put in there that we thought was kind of this full like fail-safe filter of showing all these different carriers. So yeah, straight away that was gone. So we kind of just made a simple fix, made it sticky. So as soon as someone started scrolling, it stayed there. So even if they scroll straight away, they still see the filter later on, revisit it. Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. People were thinking that their trains had been cancelled because they weren't showing up on the list if they were on a different carrier. We were causing more anxiety than that was there in the first place. So yeah, it was super important to kind of figure that one out. And the next tip was kind of localization isn't just changing the language. So we need to set the stage as customers expect it to be set, and that's very different in different markets. We started out, like I said earlier, using our UK design patterns, thinking this is great, one global product, this is exactly how we should do it, try testing methods. And yeah, that was a bit wrong. What we discovered during that user testing was there's probably more to creating a globally sound product than just keeping the UI the same throughout it. And yeah, we were confusing the users more than anything. So something as simple as customers just landed on the home screen and expected to be able to search by train number, which is something okay, it's a completely different mental model in Italy. They kind of know the true number of the trains that they're catching rather than the time. So we don't do that over here, particularly in the UK. So everyone was kind of landed on there and expecting that functionality. So there's a localization side of things, which is kind of different features potentially as well, which we kind of jumped on and kind of built that in as simpler way as we could to kind of help the customers. And then another one was the kind of the design of the patterns of the UI results cell. So we kind of followed that pattern of the UK. And that just didn't make sense. The station boards in Europe present data completely differently. They have this train number right at the front. That's the kind of most important thing. People know it. They present their platforms obviously pretty big, which is different to how we built it in the UK, because people kind of see the times more important. And then also, they like to present their times as delta times, rather than actually saying, okay, it's 8:14, but it's coming at 8:17. They want to say it's plus 4 minutes delay. And that was like something that people were like, I don't want to do the math. I don't want to work this out. I don't want to do the math. So I just want it to be there ready for me. And it was kind of like, no, I wouldn't use this product. I wouldn't use this product for that. It's just, I have to do some maths. So I'm not interested. So yeah, that was something that we kind of looked at tweaking. So we're still working on that one now. Simple one where we just defaulted to some kind of stock UU stations rather than kind of being smart around where the customer was. So we kind of built a midway term, so we just put some Italian ones in and some Spanish ones, and now we're working on kind of making it a little bit more contextual, close to the stations that they're at. But people were launching this in Italy and just saying, they're French stations, this product won't work for me. So yeah, that's kind of something that came, super really easy stuff that just came from this kind of testing, like localization stuff that makes a massive difference. And then again, yeah, touching on the times. We thought we'd done a great job with our live tracker of just kind of simplifying it out. It's so much cleaner than one of the competitors on the left-hand side. We thought we'd done a really good job. You just get a time, tells you the delay, there you go. Yeah, okay, we kind of understood that we'd got the delta thing slightly wrong, but turns out in the EU, that's not quite how they want it, and this information richness that we thought we'd kind of help them clarify a little bit was kind of what they actually wanted. So they like to have the time that the train arrives at the station, the time the train departs from the station, the time it's actually going to arrive at the station, the time it's actually going to leave the station. So we're kind of currently working on recomplicating our live tracker screen, I suppose, that we thought we'd done a great job of UXing. Yeah, so we're kind of fixing that a little bit at the moment as well. And that just brings me on to the final tip, which is when moving quickly, still push for that quality. So as I previously said, we kind of built this as a web view, and that was, yeah, a little bit controversial. We kind of, especially with some of the app team and the app designers and the developers there, kind of thinking, oh, this is going to be pretty jarring. So we still focused on a few things. So filter options. We kind of designed this filter, which was a kind of a little bit, it was less so about the experience within the app, but we kind of had a quick win where rather than just filtering by carrier, we very easy on the tech side could actually filter within carriers, high-speed trains, regional trains, and that kind of thing. So it was a little customer win that we managed to build in pretty quickly, but you know, pushing for a little bit of quality as well as just shipping new stuff. And yeah, some of the other extra loading states that you need if you've kind of got a web view in there, so kind of if someone's offline, that, you know, rather than just not showing anything, it could be pretty much feel like it's broken. We need some level of states there, and then trying our best to mimic the loading states that we've got in the app already. So yeah, the app and the web could talk to each other. So yeah, we kind of had these native headers that kind of scrolled as an app would, and then some loading states similar to kind of how the app loads anyway, and just trying to make that experience feel as native as we possibly could make it feel. It seems like the sort of thing that normally as a product team might skip and designers kind of have to fight for, but you know, we kind of said it's going to add so much value, especially to the experience that, you know, everyone's used to these native experiences, and we're building this web view, and you know, the customers really subconsciously they notice this kind of thing. It makes a big difference to performance and just the general quality of the product. You know, we want it to work well, fast, and as expected, but there's a quality aspect there as well. You know, that's massive. So yeah, so just in summary, really, it's just kind of use your own products, dog food as much as you possibly can. See it in the wild, get it into those users' hands. Super important to do that. Localization is more than just a language. And yeah, that extra design polish, well, we're all designers. Well, a lot of us are designers at the end of the day, so let's not leave that out, right? The extra design polish, it always makes a difference. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.